So excited. I went to Dollar Tree and found these little, they're plastic, but they're so cute. I'm like, oh, for Halloween, those would be great. So I grabbed a couple of those. So we're going to take them apart. I thought I was videoing yesterday when I did these. I got these little molds off of Amazon a while back. One, this is a heart, this is a brain, and then this looks like the man in the moon face. They're little, but I figured they'd be perfect to put in here. I did go ahead and cast a couple of them. I used the amazing resin, which is A and B. You mix them together, equal parts, and pour them in there, and easy peasy. Okay, so this is the heart. You can see it. I haven't painted it yet, but I'm going to do some background stuff and then put a heart on that one. And then this is the little brain. So we'll put a brain on one, and then go from there. I think it'll be, I'm going to paint these. I think I'm going to do these black and then do the gold rub and buff on top of that. But the plan is to paint this with little black dress, probably do 1 or 2 coats, distress it back, and then I'm probably going to use collard greens on this and then do some gold stamping on it. I think that's the plan. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started with little black dress, which is a DIY. And we are going to go ahead, and I like the DIY chalk. It sticks to pretty much everything. But we're going to go ahead and do, at least get 1 coat and see. I'm thinking we're probably going to have to do 2 coats on here, just so that way I can make sure I get everything. Even though I'll be distressing back, I still want good coverage, decent coverage on it. We gotta get in all these little, hopefully I'm probably not staying on camera, sorry. I did some rearranging in here. So now my camera's on the other side. That dry for a little bit, and we'll come back and see how we're looking. Okay, so we got 1 coat on there that's dry, so we're going to go ahead and do the second. Our hair, excuse me, coming off of my paintbrush. Go ahead and put a 2nd coat, and I am doing, once again, the DIY. And if you guys are local to the Houston area, I'm going to do a shout out. If you guys are local to Houston and you need somebody to supply you with DIY, IOD, she has, I'm not sure what else she has, but if you need a good stockist, I've got one. And over at Fanny's, Project Palace, Fanny's Project Palace. She's at the Antique Gallery in Spring. She's awesome, love supporting local, and she's great. She'll get you taken care of. She's got all the stuff. So go see her for IOD and DIY. That's what I just got some. Had to redo my paints and went and saw her and got some more paints because I was out. So yes, support local. I love supporting local businesses. That's what makes the world go round, folks. Supporting local, especially small businesses. All right, so we're gonna get. I think we're gonna be good with 2 coats. We're going to need on here, because I'm going to distress it back a little bit, and then once we do that, then I'll probably do a little bit of wet distressing, I should say. When I say distress it back, we're going to do some, that's why I love DIY, because you can, wet distress is so good. Yeah, that's the best way to distress, I think, is when you can, and I'm making a mess, but it wouldn't be crafting in here with me or creating with me if it wasn't making a mess. So there we go. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry, and then we will come back to it here shortly. Okay, while we're waiting for that frame to dry, we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to use Dixie Belle's Color Green. And this is the backdrop for that picture frame. We're going to go ahead and put a coat on that of the color green. I think that'll look really cool with the black. And then if I do, I got these little poison label bottle stamp looking things I got off Amazon a while back. And I think if I use those and stamp in gold on this backdrop and then put that little brain and heart, I think that'll really look cool. So we're going to do that. Yeah, these little, probably can't see them on camera until I do them, but they're poison. They're different poison labels, elixirs, different stuff, little labels that you can stamp. And I think I'm going to stamp them in gold on this backdrop, and then I'll put the heart and the brain on there. I think that'll look really cool. So we're going to let this dry for a minute and then come back and do one more coat on it, and then I think we'll be good on that. Okay, so while we're waiting for that stuff to dry, we are going to, sorry, try to get that to where I can get this in there better. Oh, I hate finding the end on tape. There we go. I'm going to try to, I'm going to paint this little brain and heart, but I'm going to try to see if I can tape them. I usually do them with little pieces. I don't know if it'll work with these because they're a little bit bulkier. Try to paint them. I'll do the underneaths first and then tape them to this plate to get the top part of them. Sounds good, right? It's one of those sounds good, but then when you go to put it to the test, looks better on paper. Alright, let's get this. And we are going to paint these with Little Black Dress. DIY. And I think I'm going to do the edges first. And then, like I said, we'll make sure I'm getting all these little nooks and crannies. All the little valves on the heart. These molds are so cool. And I saw somebody else, I saw somebody else use them. I don't know if they use these exact ones, but they had used them for something else. And then I went on Amazon, and I'll try to put a link down in the bottom in the comments for the molds for the heart and the brain. I'll try to put links to those, and then I'll see if I can find a link for and the one that I get all the DIY and the IOD for if you guys are local to Texas. And she may ship, I don't know, if you're not local and just looking for somebody good to get your IOD and your DIY from. Fanny's Project Palace. I will try to put a link to her also. Okay, so now we're going to try, see if this works. Hey, voila! Look at that. It's always nice when something actually does work out the way you want it to. Oh, that makes that so much easier. I don't know what I'm going to do though. I'm not getting as much. I already got paint all over my hands, but not getting as much paint on me. Try to get all the little spots in there. So many little nooks and crannies with that heart and the valves and everything. I think we got them all. Okay. Now to the brain. Pinky and the Brain. Sorry, my daughter used to love, I used to watch it with her. Loved watching Pinky and the Brain. Oh yeah, that works out perfect. So if you guys need a little hack for painting small resin pieces, masking tape and a styrofoam plate, paper plate, whatever plate you want to use. But yeah, tape and a plate. That makes it wonderful. Okay, so we're going to let those dry, and then once those are dry, I think we're going to do the gold rub and buff on those. I guess I'm going to have to do E6000 to glue those to the backdrop, which I like to nail and screw everything, so I'm not good with just gluing, but don't have that option on these. So we'll glue those to the backboard after once that dries, we'll stamp it. So we got some drying to do before we come back and do the next step. Okay, so we got the background, it's done in the color green. Went ahead and let it dry, and then I did a clear coat over that. So now that is all dry, so we can go ahead and do some stamping. And I'm just doing the Michaels stamp ink. It's a gold. Antique. Yeah, antique gold is the ink that I'm using, and that's through Michaels. I mean, you could probably use any kind of gold. I mean, you could do silver, you could do copper, you could do whatever makes your heart happy. But I thought the gold would look cool since I'm going to be distressing those frames back a little bit to gold. Okay, and I just put them all on here on one page. This is one of my IOD. Actually, I think this is redesigned. Backboard. Okay, now I'm trying to, sorry, my light is like glaring on this backer. Trying to get these lined up. Okay, lay that down. Hopefully it's straight, because once you put it down, I don't want it to smear. Make sure you're constantly holding with pressure with one hand and then rubbing, just like doing the other stamp. Get that on there real good. And we're gonna pull that up. Oh yeah, that's gonna look really cool. Hopefully you can see that on camera. Bunch of different little labels in gold. That's gonna look really cool in the back of that frame. All right. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. I'm going to hit it with the heat gun and then take that out in the garage and do a clear coat spray just so it doesn't, I don't take a chance on smearing or anything. Get that clear coat spray on that, and then I'll come back. I did accidentally go ahead and do this off camera. Sorry. Just wet distress it with a white wipe. It looks really cool. So it's got a little bit of the gold popping through that black. So I think, yeah, that's really going to look cool on with that in the back of that, and then the little heart or the brain on there. Yep. It's going to look lovely. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and I'm going to go take it out, do a clear coat, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got it wet distressed. I think you can see that. You just take a wet wipe or a wet cloth and just rub it back a little bit to where you want it. So I got that done, and now I'm going to use some dark wax, brown wax on this, and I'm hoping that my paint will stick and not come off with it being that shiny plastic. I didn't do any kind of base coat or kind of a quick stuff sand. I wasn't thinking about it, so hopefully. Usually DIY paint is usually really good about sticking to stuff. No, I really like doing the brown. You could do a clear coat in between if you wanted to, like a clear wax. If you don't, like it was a lighter color, I would probably do it just so the brown wax wouldn't be so dominant. But with it being the black paint, looking for that vintage type of look, so I think this will be perfect. And I really like the brown wax directly over a dark paint. Oh, this is really gonna look neat when it's done, I think, personally. But teach their own. Some people may not like it, but I like the dark. The dark moody is the thing now, and I'm kind of liking it. Something different. I mean, I still love my light, bright, fun colors, happy colors, but I don't know. These dark, moody colors are kind of cool for a change. All right, I think that's good enough. Yeah, that looks really cool. All right, so there's the frame. Now we just need to put back. I'll have to go back over that again and do some wiping off, because you can tell on some of those spots where you don't get that wax wiped off and it's sticky. Okay. Now we are going to put the backdrop. Make sure I put it in the right way. this way, we'll be ready to, this will be ready for attaching the heart or the brain. One more, and then we are good. And we get to see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that looks really cool. If you guys can see that hopefully on camera. That gold stamp on the background really looks cool with that black and the collard green. Okay, so that is done, and it's got the little stand on the back. So we've got that. Now, we just gotta wait for these. Let them dry a little bit longer, and then we're going to, actually I have the golden roll too. I'll have to decide if I want to do golden roll on these, or if I want to do the rub and buff. Not sure. We'll let them dry a little bit longer, and then we'll come back to getting them finished and attached. Okay, so we are going to, I went ahead and did it on the brain just to see if that's what I was going to want to do. The gold gilding wax by DIY. We're going to put that on there. So that's the little brain, and that's got the little black dress DIY face coat, and then the gold gilding wax on top of that. So we are going to, and I'm just using my finger. So you can do it with a brush, your finger, however you prefer. Buff and show. And I did take those out in the garage, and I did a clear coat spray. So it's got that. So if you can see that, that's the heart. And that's the same thing, little black dress DIY with the gold gilding wax on it. Alright, so those are done and ready to get mounted on the frames. And I think I'm just going to do E6000. I think we're just going to go with that, and that's how we're going to attach them. So everything else is done. For a little bit. And the other... I think they're gonna look cool. I don't know if anybody else will think that, but I think they're gonna be neat. We're gonna glue those on. And this, I've got the wrong E6000, so it doesn't have the little nozzle end, and it just gushes out of here without that little nozzle. I don't want to get too much because I don't want this oozing. Oh my god, this glue. I think I just need to throw this one away and be done with it and get a one with the nozzle. Alright, so spread that around just a little bit. Get it to the edges. Alright. Now, I guess it don't matter which way you put that on there. Alright, I'm just eyeballing where I think it should go. Center. Hopefully looks good. As my husband would say, looks good for my house. Once it's gone, of course. Okay. Yay, okay, that looks so cool. Okay, so I gotta be careful until that sets. So there's the brain one. I'm loving it. Loving it, loving it. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to be making more of those, that's for sure. I got this dang glue oozing everywhere. Alright, and the heart. The rails go up, right? I don't know. We're just gonna put it on here. It's artwork, right? It's not like it's a thing going into a museum for people to go off of for anatomy. Alright, we're gonna leave that set. Just glue this lid back on this stuff before it goes everywhere. Lord have mercy. Okay. Ooh, that looks so cool. Okay, and there is the heart one. Okay, so those are done. Once they're dry, I'll prop them up and take some pictures to put on here so you guys can see. So yeah, those turned out. Got the heart. I don't know if you can see. There's the brain one and there's the heart one. So yeah, those turned out really cool. They look a little crooked. I think it's my camera angle. Okay, so those are done and looking really cool. So I'm happy with that. All right, so one project down. We'll move on to the next one. You guys don't forget to like, subscribe, follow my channel. If you like it, give me some comments in the bottom. If you want to see something different, let me know what you think of them. And I will try to make sure I put in the link of the mold for these two, even the stamp. I got the stamp off of Amazon too. The frames are from Dollar Tree. So I'll try to put links in there for everything. And then of course, have a happy day. See you guys in the next one.